Hey guys, TrueGreen7 here, and I have not written a top 10 in like months, so I hope I didn't forget how to speak. Well, speaking of things that I used to do, there are a bunch of Pokemon that I used to have rather negative opinions on, but I hope you guys know by now that opinions change, especially when it comes to art. Pokemon is by definition art, and as a kid, I didn't really appreciate a lot of what went into making a Pokemon. There are a bunch of reasons these Pokemon went from being disliked to loved, but keep in mind how I ordered this list. The entries aren't in order of how much I currently like them, but rather how much my opinion on the Pokemon has changed. So a Pokemon that I used to absolutely dislike, but now kinda like, will be higher on the list than a Pokemon that I just disliked a bit in the past, and now just like. The whole point of the video is to understand that it's always great to be open to learning a bit about something in order to appreciate it more. And before we start, know that my definition of hate is probably a little different than yours. I never really hated any of these Pokemon. There are only like 2 Pokemon that I actually despise. Most of these Pokemon were just ones that I disliked, not Pokemon that I wished never existed or anything. Number 10. Leafeon. So obviously, let me first tell you guys why I used to dislike this Pokemon. It's pretty simple really. Since I was such a big fan of grass types, I was almost expecting Eevee's grass type evolution to be super cool, but when I first encountered Leafeon, I guess it didn't meet my standards. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. This thing is gorgeous, and that may be the reason. As a kid, I liked things that were cool and didn't pay much attention to the beauty of things, but I've changed drastically since then. Now I watch every sunset, cry when listening to music, and deeply analyze art. And boy is this thing a piece of art. The colors are warm, and that green is among my top 5 favorite greens. Keep an eye out for that video. I didn't really appreciate it until I made my top 50 Pokemon official art list more than a year ago, and noticed how pretty this evolution is. It's still probably my least favorite evolution, but it's making its way up to 7th place. It's not my fault all these mutants are adorable. Number 9. Mudsdale. When this Pokemon was revealed, I thought it looked like a normal horse, so I didn't find it that interesting. We got another horse Pokemon, and that one's on fire, so you can't compare. Then I found out how slow it was and ignored it during my Sun and Moon playthrough. But boy was I an idiot. Okay guys, so for Ultra Moon, I didn't really want to have the same team, so I ended up training a Mudbray and using a Mudsdale, and oh my god, this Pokemon is amazing! Its ability Stamina raises its defense every time it's hit, so my Delilah never got knocked down, and her attack stat is huge. She's got huge ones, the biggest stats I've ever seen, so she stays in and hits hard. Who cares about speed anymore? After using a Mudsdale and also appreciating its design, I went from being indifferent to absolutely loving this Pokemon. It became the MVP of my team, and that's something special. Number 8. Toucanon. Again, the reason I disliked it was kind of a mixture of the reasons I gave for the previous Mons. I thought Pikipek was gonna stay as a woodpecker, so I expected a woodpecking god for a final evolution. And once I saw this toucan, I was kinda disappointed because it was pretty much just a toucan. But after focusing on it for a little bit, I noticed something. This isn't a toucan. Only a small percentage of his DNA is toucan. It's 20% toucan and 80% rage. This guy's angry and I love it. I've never seen such an angry creature. And I love it when you can accurately tell what a Pokemon's personality is. Its personality is a meme, and I enjoy that. But I also came to understand the design element of its beak. It's a pretty cool idea to have it heat up in this very thoughtful way. It uses its warm beak to heat Pikipek eggs. I just love the animation when this thing glows. So Toucanon has redeemed itself, and if I would have stayed its enemy, I don't think I would have survived anyways. Number 7. Greninja. So back in the fall of 2013, X and Y leaks were, well, leaking. It was just everywhere. It was getting under the fridge and it was really hard to clean up. But fake leaks were also making the rounds, and this one made me the most excited. I really did think that this was Froakie's final evolution, and I was super happy about it. This thing looks sick. But then the real Greninja leaked, and I was disappointed that the Frubbles didn't carry on to its final design. I wasn't so happy. I didn't think Frogadier transitioned well into Greninja. But then I got over it and realized how much I love its tongue scarf. Then I admired its speed, concept, and ninja origin. Its design was super cool, and I heard it was really good at battling. It was pretty much a perfect Pokemon, and Greninja eventually became the absolute most popular Pokemon, in Japan at least, and now I'm a huge fan, and I'm sure a majority of you guys are too. And let me just see into the future right now, cause I predict that there will be some comments saying, "But I don't like Greninja." I'm telling you guys, I must be a psychic or something. Just like our next entry. Number 6. Bronzong. I'm pretty sure it's not the most popular Pokemon, so nobody's gonna get mad at me for disliking this Pokemon in the past. It's a big, creepy bell, and the dong of a huge bell must be very obnoxious. Just too loud and annoying. I guess there's just nothing here that would appeal to an 11-year-old kid. But wait, there's more! This thing's origin is very interesting. It's based on these ancient Japanese bronze bells, believed to be used to pray for the gods of harvest. And that's what the people in the Pokemon universe did in the past as well. Pray for rain, using a bronzong. It may also be a coincidence that it also resembles the Aztec god of rain, Tlaloc. Even more interesting is that Bronzor is based on ancient bronze mirrors, and in a specific Japanese folktale, a bronze mirror was smelted to forge a bronze bell, connecting these two forever. I also love how it's green, which is the color of rusted bronze. So this is a prime example of the Pokemon's lore and origin contributing to my appreciation of its design. And it's not the last time you'll hear such a story in this video. Number 5. Duat. It's a weird opinion, but I don't like how it's blue. I love Samurott, but for some reason I didn't like the blue fur. It looks funny to me, but I got over that. Now I'm a huge fan of its design and personality even. Its shells resemble a samurai war fan, and even its ponytail and lower body resemble samurai period fashion. Its concept is really well rounded, and I regret the days that I had some sort of disdain for this cool Pokemon. As I grew to love Samurott even more, my love for Duat grew as well. Number 4. Arceus. Yo Arceus, I'm really happy for you, I'm gonna let you finish, but Necrozma had the most godlike battle of all time. That was kind of the problem Arceus had. There are just so many godlike Pokemon that it's hard to say why this god is the most godlike. Now I see why religions are constantly fighting. It's just that when you make a supreme Pokemon, it's hard to make it seem better than every other Pokemon. Rayquaza was my god, but this is just another case of childhood stubbornness. I think it's hilarious how a kid can capture the god Pokemon, use it in battle, and even take pictures with God. Once I created this head-bopping Arceus gif, I fell in love with him. And once I really looked into its name origin and concept, he really did start feeling like the Pokemon god. I do admit, in the past, this was not what I expected the almighty Pokemon to look like, but nowadays, I think he looks divine, very pure, grade A alpha material. It's now the undisputed deity of the Pokemon world in my eyes, but if you want to hear me go into further detail about this Pokemon, click the card in the right hand corner. Number 3. Stila. This is an example of a Pokemon I was afraid of physically. Like Claydol, it made me feel uncomfortable. You see, I have this fear of things that just have too many body parts. It's the reason I'm extremely arachnophobic. 6 legs are fine, but once you got 8, I don't want to be near you. And the same thing applies to Stila. These arms are just, they're weird looking, and there are just too many exhaust pipes, bamboo shoot things on the top of, there's just so, it's so confusing what's going on with this thing's body. It has too many details, and on top of that, it's freaking huge. I do not want to see this thing in real life, but its origin and concept is amazing. God, do I sound annoying. Stila is based on Princess Kaguya from a very famous Japanese tale. Princess Kaguya is basically an alien girl found inside a bamboo shoot by a childless couple, who grows up to be insanely beautiful and beloved by the whole empire, but eventually is revealed to be an alien from the moon, and by the end of the tale, her people come back and take her to the moon, much to the dismay of all the people that loved her. And guess what? Stila is a kimono-wearing lady rocket made of bamboo. Japan even sent a spacecraft to the moon named Kaguya. Its colors are also fantastic, and it's pretty cute in Pokemon Refresh. It's a well-thought-out Pokemon, and the final aspect that made it go from a Pokemon I kinda hated to one that I love is its homeworld. It's filled with Celesteelas growing from the ground and blasting off. That's genius, man! Number 2. The forces of nature. They all look the same, so don't tell me I'm not allowed to put them all in the same spot. That was the reason I hated them after all. They look too similar, and I also guess I didn't like how humanoid they were. But do you really think Game Freak would make legendary Pokemon without putting thought into their designs? Do you honestly believe Game Freak was just lazy and decided to make 3 pivotal Pokemon look the same? Yes. Well, that's why you're an idiot, Kevin. The answer is no. Thundurus and Tornadus are based on the Shinto gods of thunder and lightning, Raijin and Fujin. They look like brothers, ride on clouds in almost all form of art. Raijin has a set of drums, which is what Thundurus' tail thing is based on, and Fujin is green and has a bag of winds, similar to Tornadus' tail. Landorus could be based on Inari, the kami of fertility and agriculture, which is what Landorus basically is, a kind version of Thundurus and Landorus, who uses the disruptive nature of those two to make the land abundant and fruitful. The trio has a purpose, and their Therian forms probably made them seem even cooler. They went from my least favorite legendaries to ones that I constantly praise. And number 1 is Steelix. I'm just gonna quickly sum up what I said in a video I made more than a year ago. Steelix has always been an incredibly creepy Pokemon to me. I was afraid of it as a kid and definitely wouldn't want to see this thing pop out of the ground in real life. But when I was 10, my grandpa gave me some money to buy some Pokemon cards, and in the pack I got was a holographic Steelix EX. My grandfather passed away months later, and it's now my most cherished card. I always thought this Pokemon was super cool, and I wouldn't mind if everybody's favorite Pokemon was a Steelix, but it's always been a scary looking Pokemon to me. I used to hate it while kinda liking it at the same time, but now I've come to realize how much this Pokemon means to me. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Following me on Facebook and Twitter would be amazing, and I would love to shout out all the awesome people on Patreon like Elizabeth Mustaine. If you want to become a patron and get cool rewards, please check out my Patreon page and the videos on screen. I'll see you guys very soon.